Imagine a celestial body, a planet drifting in the furthest reaches of a solar system. It moves through the cold, silent void, seemingly untethered. To the untrained eye, it is lost. But the physicist knows better. That planet is held in an invisible grip. It is bound by a gravitational pull it cannot see, cannot explain, and, most importantly, cannot break. You have felt this gravity. You have stood as the sun in this metaphor, the fixed point, the holder of space, watching the unawakened counterpart drift into the darkness of his own shadow. You have watched him retreat, not because the light was too dim, but because it was too bright. It revealed corners of his own architecture he was not yet prepared to inhabit. He is currently navigating a landscape of no contact, no explanation, no movement. Yet, beneath the frozen surface of his avoidance, there is a frantic, silent recalculation occurring. The avoidant soul is not a vacant house. He is a house with the lights turned off, where someone is standing behind the curtain, watching the street, wondering if you are still there. Today, we are moving past the surface-level agony of, why won't he call? We are entering the laboratory of the soul. We are going to deconstruct the mechanics of his silence, not to give you a false sense of hope, but to provide you with the surgical clarity required to reclaim your own power. The silence of the avoidant soul is rarely a vacuum. It is a dense, pressurized atmosphere. To understand why he retreats, even when the connection is undeniable, we must look at the blueprint of his internal world. He is not running from you. He is running from the sensation of being dissolved. In the eyes of the anxious heart, this looks like a cold rejection. In the nervous system of the unawakened counterpart, it feels like a fight for oxygen. This is the fundamental disconnect. You see a bridge to a beautiful future. He sees a bridge that requires him to burn down everything he has ever known to cross it. This is the first layer of the deconstruction. It is a biological imperative. The human brain is designed to prioritize survival over satisfaction. For the avoidant soul, intimacy has become synonymous with an intrusion. When you offer depth, his subconscious registers a threat. It triggers a cascade of neurochemicals that scream for distance. He withdraws to regulate. He retreats to find the edges of himself again because, in your presence, those edges begin to blur. This leads us to the concept of the refractive mirror. You are not merely a partner to him. You are a mirror of the infinite. When he looks at you, he does not just see your beauty or your kindness. He sees the vast, unhealed potential of his own soul. He sees the parts of himself he has buried under layers of logic and social performance. Your light does not just illuminate him. It exposes the shadows he is not yet ready to integrate. This creates a profound spiritual friction. The more you hold space with unconditional love, the more intense the reflection becomes. He retreats because the reflection is too honest. He is not yet equipped to handle the truth of his own divinity or the depth of his own wounds. The withdrawal is his way of turning the mirror to the wall. He seeks the comfort of the mundane because the extraordinary requires a transformation he is currently avoiding. He wants the connection, but he fears the cost of the evolution it demands. We must also consider the reality of quantum entanglement. Even in the physical absence, the energetic bond remains active. The avoidant soul feels the pull of the anxious heart. He feels your thoughts. He feels your longing. To him, this feels like an invisible weight. It is a gravity he cannot explain. When you reach out, even energetically, he senses the need in the frequency. Need is a vibration of lack. It acts as a vacuum that tries to pull him in before he is ready. This is why he often moves further away the more you try to understand him. He is sensitive to the pressure of your expectations. He knows he cannot meet them yet. His secret desire to return is often buried under this pressure. He wants to come back, but only when he feels he can do so without being consumed. He is waiting for the moment when the gravity of your absence becomes stronger than the fear of your presence. The secret desire to return often manifests in what we call the secret space. This is the mental sanctuary where he keeps you. In this space, he is not avoidant. He is not afraid. He talks to you in his mind. He revisits memories. He watches your life from a distance through the digital window of social media. He is looking for signs that you have moved on, yet he is terrified that you actually have. This is the great paradox of the unawakened counterpart. He needs to know the door is open, but he will not walk through it as long as he sees you standing there waiting. He needs to feel the coldness of the void to appreciate the warmth of the sun. His silence is a laboratory. It is where he tests the strength of his own independence. He is trying to prove to himself that he does not need the connection. But the more he tries to prove it, the more the entanglement asserts itself. The nervous system plays a final, crucial role in this withdrawal. Many avoidant souls carry a history of engulfment. At some point in their development, love felt like losing their autonomy. Now, when the connection with you reaches a certain level of intensity, his body enters a state of high alert. He experiences a shutdown response. This is not a conscious choice. It is a physiological collapse of his emotional availability. He becomes a ghost because he feels like he is disappearing. He secretly wants you back because the soul craves the union, but the body is programmed for isolation. He is caught in a loop between his spiritual calling and his biological defense. He is waiting for a sense of safety that can only come from within himself. Until he navigates his own internal landscape, he will continue to see your love as a cage rather than a sanctuary. This withdrawal is a necessary part of the alchemy. It is the nigredo phase of the spiritual process. It is the blackening, the rotting of the old ego. He must experience the total exhaustion of his own defenses. He must reach the point where the pain of being alone is greater than the fear of being seen. You cannot bridge this gap for him. If you try, you interrupt the lesson. You provide a temporary relief that prevents the permanent shift. The deconstruction of his avoidance requires the total absence of your intervention. He must face the silence until it speaks back to him. He must sit in the vacuum until he realizes that he is the one who emptied the room. Only then can the secret desire to return transform into a conscious choice to evolve. The why of his behavior is not found in your actions, but in his own fear of the vastness you represent. He is not lost. He is simply navigating the long way home. The moment of profound realization arrives when you stop viewing the distance as a desert and start seeing it as a laboratory. You have spent so much time looking across the horizon for a sign of his return. You have interpreted his silence as a lack of love or a failure of the connection. But what if the silence is the most profound form of love he is currently capable of offering? What if the distance is the only thing keeping the connection from burning out entirely? This is the paradigm shift. It is the transition from the victim of the void to the architect of the space. We must look at the physics of the heart. Consider the metaphor of the two golden threads stretched across a great expanse. When these threads are close together, they are slack. They become tangled and knotted. They lose their individual integrity. They cannot produce a sound. But when they are pulled apart, a transformation occurs. The threads become taut. They begin to vibrate with a specific frequency. They find their pitch. This is the sacred tension. The distance you are experiencing right now is not a sign of disconnection. It is the very thing that allows the music of the soul to be heard. You have been taught that intimacy is proximity. You believe that being close is the only way to be connected. But for the avoidant soul and the anxious heart, proximity often leads to a recursive loop of fear and pressure. The unawakened counterpart retreats because he cannot breathe in the atmosphere of your expectation. He feels the weight of your waiting. He feels the gravity of your need. This creates a psychological push that overrides his spiritual pull. The aha moment occurs when you realize that by releasing the need for his return, you actually strengthen the bond. You move from a state of clinging to a state of holding. To hold space is a divine act. It requires you to stand in your own center without requiring another person to validate your existence. It is the realization that your worth is a fixed constant in the universe. It is not a variable that fluctuates based on a text message or a phone call. When you reach this level of internal equilibrium, the energetic field between you changes. The tension is no longer a tug-of-war. It becomes a resonant bridge. Consider the role of the great observer. Most of your pain comes from the stories you tell yourself about his absence. You tell yourself he has forgotten you. You tell yourself he is with someone else. You tell yourself you are not enough. These stories are the static that prevents you from hearing the truth. The truth is that he is currently undergoing a necessary stripping away of the ego. He is in the fire. He is being forced to face the vacuum he created. If you were to step in now, you would be providing him with a cosmic bypass. You would be saving him from the very discomfort that is designed to wake him up. This is the hardest part of the shift. You must realize that your silence is just as important as his. Your withdrawal into your own life is not an act of punishment. It is an act of spiritual sovereignty. You are giving him the gift of his own consequences. You are allowing the gravity of his choice to act upon him without interference. This is where the alchemy happens. In the space between you, a third energy is formed. It is the energy of the union itself. This energy does not live in him, and it does not live in you. It lives in the field. When you are anxious, you pollute the field. When you are at peace, you clear the field. The paradigm shift is the understanding that your only job is to keep your side of the field clean. You do this by returning to yourself. You do this by falling in love with the life you are living in his absence. This is not a trick to get him back. It is a fundamental realignment of your soul. You are no longer the one who is waiting. You are the destination. There is a massive difference between a person who is standing at a door begging for it to open and a person who is hosting a banquet inside the house. The avoidant soul is hypersensitive to the frequency of the beggar. It repels him, but he is irresistibly drawn to the frequency of the banquet. He can sense when you have stopped waiting. He can feel the moment the pressure valve is released. The pain you feel is the friction of your own expansion. You are being stretched. You are being asked to hold a capacity for love that does not require a physical object to sustain it. This is the path of the master. It is easy to love someone who is standing in front of you. It is a divine challenge to love the essence of someone while their physical form is 1,000 miles away. This distance is stripping you of your attachments. It is burning away your need for control. It is forcing you to find the source of love within your own heart, rather than seeking it in the reflection of another. This is the ultimate aha moment. The connection was never about him coming back to you. It was about you coming back to yourself. The unawakened counterpart is simply the catalyst for this return. He is the mirror that had to break so you could see the light behind the glass. When you finally accept this, the agony of the wait disappears. You realize that time is an illusion of the ego. In the quantum field, there is no separation. You are already connected. You are already whole. The physical manifestation of that connection will follow the frequency you hold. If you hold the frequency of lack, you will experience lack. If you hold the frequency of completion, the universe must mirror that completion back to you. This is the law of the spirit. Stop looking at the clock. Stop counting the days of silence. The silence is not a wall. It is a womb. Something is being born in the darkness. Let it grow. Let it develop without the interference of your fear. You are the holder of space. You are the sun. Trust in your own gravity. Trust that what belongs in your orbit will find its way back when the trajectory is right. And if it does not, it is only because you have evolved into a new galaxy altogether. You are not losing him. You are finding the universe. Clarity is a beautiful light, but light alone cannot build a house. You have understood the mechanics of his silence. You have glimpsed the sacred geometry of the gap. Now you must learn to inhabit the space you have discovered. This is the stage of practical integration. It is the process of turning a spiritual realization into a biological reality. The path from the anxious heart to the holder of space is not paved with grand gestures. It is built through small, invisible shifts in the way you process your own existence. You are transitioning from a state of reaction to a state of resonance. This requires a disciplined recalibration of your internal world. We begin with the practice of the witness state. When the wave of longing hits you, it feels like a physical tide. It pulls at your chest. It narrows your vision. Your instinct is to follow that wave out to sea. You want to analyze the silence. You want to solve the problem of his absence. But you must realize that you cannot solve a storm while you are drowning in it. You must become the mountain. When the sensation of missing him arises, do not fight it. Do not judge it. Simply label it. Say to yourself that there is a sensation of longing occurring. By naming the emotion, you move the energy from the reactive centers of the brain to the conscious centers. You create a distance between the observer and the observed. You are no longer the longing. You are the space in which the longing is happening. This is the first step of true power. It is the ability to feel everything without being consumed by anything. The mountain does not ask the clouds to leave. It simply watches them pass. The second shift is the alchemical return. You must recognize that your attention is your most valuable currency. Every time you wonder what the avoidant soul is doing, you are spending your gold. Every time you check for a digital footprint or replay an old conversation, you are leaking your life force. You are sending your energy across a bridge to a closed door. This creates a vacuum in your own life. The unawakened counterpart can feel this leak. To him, it feels like a subtle, energetic pressure. It feels like a demand. The alchemical return is the conscious act of snapping that golden thread back into your own center. When you find your mind drifting toward him, visualize that energy returning to your own solar plexus. Imagine it fueling your own creativity and your own peace. You are not withdrawing your love. You are withdrawing your dependency. You are choosing to invest your wealth in your own kingdom. This is not an act of coldness. It is an act of restoration. You are making yourself whole so that you are no longer a half soul searching for a completion that can only be found within. The more you hoard your own light, the more magnetic you become. You stop being a seeker and start being a source. This is the only frequency that can truly bridge the gap. The third shift is the frequency of completion. This is the most profound move you can make in the quantum field. Most people spend their lives in the frequency of waiting. Waiting is a vibration of lack. It sends a message to the universe that you are incomplete. It confirms that the thing you desire is over there and you are over here. As long as you are waiting for him to choose you, you are affirming that you have not yet chosen yourself. You must move from the frequency of the beggar to the frequency of the host. Imagine you are hosting a grand banquet. The table is set, the candles are lit, the music is playing. You are not standing at the window watching the road for your guests. You are enjoying the feast. You are the choice. You are the destination. When you live from a state of completion, the external world must eventually reorganize itself to match your internal state. This is the law of resonance. You are not trying to manifest his return. You are manifesting your own wholeness. If the union is meant to occur in the physical, it will happen because you have become a match for the love you seek. You have removed the need from the equation. Need is a repellent to the avoidant soul. Completion is an invitation. These 3 shifts are not a one-time event. They are a daily practice. They are the work of the master storyteller who refuses to be a character in someone else's drama. You are reclaiming the narrative. You are realizing that the silence of the unawakened counterpart is not a wall. It is a mirror. It is reflecting back to you every place where you are still seeking outside of yourself. Every moment of anxiety is a pointer toward a part of you that still needs your own attention. Every moment of silence is an opportunity to hear your own voice. The practical integration is the realization that you are not in a waiting room. You are in a laboratory. You are being refined. You are being prepared for a level of union that the ego cannot even imagine. This union does not require a chase. It does not require a struggle. It requires a deep, unwavering surrender to your own divinity. You are the holder of space. You are the fixed point. You are the sun. And the sun does not move to find its planets. It simply burns with such consistent, radiant heat that the entire system has no choice but to find its orbit around it. Stay in your center. Trust the process of your own expansion. The work you do within yourself is the only work that truly matters. The rest is just the gravity of the soul doing what it was always meant to do. The unawakened counterpart is not your enemy. He is not a villain in a story of abandonment. He is a soul in a state of deep contraction, trying to remember how to expand. He secretly wants you back because you are the only place in the universe where he felt the truth of who he is. But he is waiting for the courage to face that truth. Your task is not to wait. Your task is to exist, to be so grounded in your own divinity, so settled in your own skin, that you become a fixed point in the cosmos. If he returns, let it be because he has finally learned to walk through the fire of his own fear. And if he does not, let it be because you have traveled so far into your own light that you no longer need a reflection to know you are there. Until we meet again, stay in your center.